There we go. All right, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder. That dashing, good-looking young man off to the side there is Ryan Ritter. He's the head coach of the UT Martin Skyhawks of the Ohio Valley Conference. And Ryan, I so appreciate you spending time with us today. It's summertime, so it's just the easy time. You're playing a lot of golf. You're never in the office. I say it as a joke, of course. The whole landscape of college basketball has changed dramatically, hasn't it? Even in the last year to 18 months.
No doubt. I appreciate it because I just got off the golf course. You got me at a good time, and I've just been kind of hanging out this spring. So, no, you said it. I mean, the landscape has changed, and a lot of people have opinions on it. But, I think for us, it's just navigating and trying to be efficient in our work. And so, 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago for college coaches looked different than it does now. And, I think as your recruiting kind of shifts to the spring because of the transfer portal and because of some different factors, I think all of us coaches are really, just trying to figure out how to, at least for my case, trying to be a balanced family man, trying to spend time with my family, but also trying to make sure we're taking care of building a program here. And so that's been fun trying to analyze it and trying to figure it out. But here we are today and excited to talk with you.
The brave new world. I wasn't going to start with that question. You have 2 daughters, Brixton and Remy. Where does Brixton come from?
It's a great question. So Brixton, me and my wife were on a honeymoon. It wasn't right after the wedding because clearly college basketball kind of got in the way. But we were out in California in August, and we're driving down one of those beach towns, and we see this surf shop over there, and it says, "Hey, Brixton clothing," or whatever it may have been. And my wife's like, "That's a pretty cool name. If we have a kid, we should name him Brixton." And sure enough, about 6 months later, she gets pregnant, and we're like, "Hey, remember that name Brixton?" And so that's how she got her name, from a place out in California.
Whenever I see interesting names like that, I always have to know the story. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Hey, 1 year down at UT Martin, and after several years other places, first year in the OVC, what kind of lessons were you learning, or did you learn from last season?
Well, I think, like any league, you're trying to get your footing. You're trying to understand exactly what wins, what style of play. You want to be who you are internally as a coach and building a program. But I think you also have to have some flexibility in the way you recruit and understand, exactly what wins in this league. And I think, for me particularly, this year in the Ohio Valley, obviously it's had traditionally really good guards. We can name through a lot of them, but the big men this year, it wasn't as much rim runners. It was big, KJ Williams, Nick Muzinski, Janai Broom, guys that could really play with their back to the basket. And so I think for me going forward, that was something that, I'd done my research a little bit, but knew the guard play would be really good. But the forwards in this league were just a notch better than I'm not gonna say that I expected, but seeing them face to face, they're big, they're strong, they're skilled. And then obviously the coaches in this league are top notch. So I think for us, it was really good to just understand, hey, how do we get on a bus and go to SEMO? Do we go to Eastern Illinois the night before? Do we hit both on the road? So there's so many things that we learned as a program that I think, people take for granted when they've been there 2, 3, 4 years, that we're going to look forward to knowing, hey, this is where we're eating. This is what we're doing. This is what we're traveling to. This is how we do our prep going into next year. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that we had a chance to take away.
You talk about figuring those things out, but you have a top-notch coaching staff with you, don't you? I was thinking through the guys on your staff, and 2 or 3 of them have Missouri Valley ties, and so I've had a lot of history in the Missouri Valley Conference. You've got to be very excited going forward with the staff that you have.
Yeah, staff dynamics are always very important, and that's one thing that you got to spend a lot of time analyzing. It's different for every job. It's different for every coach. And I think as a head coach, you want to challenge yourself to put people around you that are better than you and can bring the most out of you, and then also be able to delegate certain items and certain parts of the program to them. So I think, for us, just growing forward, continuity of staff and bringing, bringing 8 players back will be huge for us. As of last year, it's funny, I was telling someone we signed 13 guys and I had only seen one of them in person. So when they stepped foot on campus in June, these guys we had seen on film, we're literally, hey, this guy looks great. We see him in person. It's like, okay, hey, the film, this is what he looked like. Maybe he's a little bigger, maybe he's a little smaller, maybe he's a little stronger. And so for us, just continuity and obviously staff continuity is a big one going forward.
Denver Cobb worked, you guys knew each other in various places before, and he coached with your dad and all of that. And at least at one of his places, they called him the defensive coordinator of that program. And some college coaching staffs are going to that kind of mode. Are you using Denver that way, or is that how your staff is divided up? I'm interested in the makeup and the way you guys interact.
Yeah, it's a unique, like I said, it's unique to everyone, and I think everyone does it differently. At a spot like ours, and again, we've got unbelievable administration leadership, but we still don't have the resources and the budget at the highest level that some of these guys do. So for us, it's really hard to particularly say, hey, you're the defensive coordinator, and that's what you do. He is a big influence on the defensive side of the ball because of his time at Texas Tech when Chris Beard was there. He worked hand in hand with Mark Adams. Also worth, my good friend Brian Berg, that's now the head coach at Georgia Southern. So when it comes to basketball mentality and specifically defensive side, we absolutely use him in a capacity. But at this point, man, if it's the head coach got to get down and wipe the floor or clean the bleachers, or it's our 1, 2, or 3 assistants have an opportunity to make some in-game adjustments. It's really about just putting the best product out there that we can and being able to come to an agreement as a staff. Hey, what's best for this program moving forward?
You talked about roster stability, 8 guys coming back and some new players. And in this day and age, roster stability is like insane. Like, how did you do that? How did you keep 8 of them? I know a couple of guys have transferred out. You brought some new ones in, but your stability is unique to college basketball right now.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll just hit it right on the head. I don't think anybody thinks we had a great year in terms of wins and losses. I think we were 8-22. Obviously we want to be at that top 1, 2, or 3. And I'm not afraid to say that we built the foundation the right way. And I think those guys, those 8 returners, I think they can see the light at the end of the tunnel, that they had to bear a lot of the tough times early on. I think they see that the better days are coming. But with those 8 guys returning, I think no matter what field you're in, basketball, religion, business, I think you want to have your employees feel valued. And our student athletes, I think, feel very valued, whether they're the leading scorer, whether they're the 13th man. And I think we've tried to create value in each one of their roles. And, ultimately we're excited about a lot of our guys coming back. And, I'd have to look at this, but I think KJ Simon might be the only first team all-league guy returning in the OVC. I know there's been a couple of transitions and it might be wrong when this thing comes out, but so for us, I think it's just creating value, whether it's coaches, whether it's players, and then to bring 8 of the, potential 11 guys that could come back, we feel really good about that moving forward.
You mentioned KJ, and I wanted to ask you about him. He played for you at Bethune-Cookman and came with you there and is a returning all-conference guy. How important, he was your leading scorer last year, so obviously it was very important, but how important was it to have a guy like that on your team a year ago to kind of help the rest of the players understand who you were and what you were going for?
Well, it's really unique, Harry, because although he was with us at Bethune-Cookman, we opted out that year. And
that's right, you guys didn't play.
So we didn't play. So I had only coached him really for about 3 weeks in terms of, having my hands on him and being able to coach and teach him. And but those 3 weeks we knew, hey, this guy's got a special gear and he's got a chance to be really good. So there was definitely some continuity in terms of at least we had a relationship. But really this year, coaching him on the floor was really, last summer was kind of the first time we got a chance to have extended time at it. And I think for his development, obviously our team wasn't where we wanted to be, but he got a chance to really play through some mistakes and ultimately, lead us in virtually every category and very deserving of that first team all conference nod.
You had some guys that really contributed and KK Curry was a guy that got some notoriety throughout the season and having some big weeks and so forth. Just talk about your returners, and then I want to ask you about some of the new guys as well.
Well, I think, I kind of just hit on with KJ, but so many of our guys got to play extended minutes. And I think going forward that whether they're freshmen to sophomores or juniors to seniors, I think the opportunity to play through mistakes and understand, how does this league work? How does coach want to play? How do we all get better? So, when you talk about KK Curry, Chris Nix, Kobe Jeffries, those are guys that we think can take, really major jumps and maybe not statistically, maybe it will be statistically, but just in terms of how do we win at UT Martin. And I know those 3 guys, specific are really fired up to team up with KJ and the rest of our group, because I think they had to, look at the end of the game, man, we weren't good enough tonight. We got to strap it up tomorrow. We got to figure out how to be better. And to their credit, they did that really from June all the way till March. They gave us everything they had. And I feel very good with the character that we're bringing back. And obviously, I think you're going to see their game really expand because of all the experiences they had in year one.
You mentioned the record, which wasn't obviously what you wanted. And you guys lost the last 7, I think it was, to finish the season. And yet the roster stability. I guess when I look at that, I think it's darn near miraculous, right? You look with a team that drops so many at the end, the record isn't great, and yet those guys are bought in. That's something very special.
Well, I think, when you really look at it, and this isn't an excuse because the record is going to be the record, and in 20 years, no one's going to ask how or why. They're going to say that you're 8-22. And, we had, just to be quite honest, Darius Simmons thought would be a really, really nice player for us. I think he was hitting his groove. He ends up breaking his hand, 4 games into the conference season, which we were 2-2 when he was playing. And then all of a sudden we proceed to go, 2-12 down the stretch. Josh Endicott, who we thought, was our arguably top forward recruit, averaged 10-7 at North Florida. He just never was healthy all year. He plays 2 games and he breaks his other ankle, comes back, breaks his thumb. And so to not have any stability there, I think, down the stretch, yes, we did lose 7, but we were 2-9 in games where it was 1 possession with 4 minutes to go. And obviously I've got to go to the clipboard. I got to go to the drawing board and figure out, maybe what to do differently. But at the same time, I'm proud of our guys competing for 36 minutes. And I think having the stability of those guys coming back, I think we take that jump and we really learn and know how to win close games, hopefully here next year.
The OVC itself is changing quite a bit. Belmont gone, Murray is gone, Austin P is gone. You bring in some new programs. Have you ever been able to even wrap your head around what the OVC will look like next year?
I think so a little bit, but at the same time, we have so much to worry about and work on here that obviously, hey, we're it's out of our hands. The administrators and the conference officials are going to make decisions, hopefully in the best interest of our conference, and we trust them to do that. And I know I got to know those coaches a little bit at Lindenwood, Southern Indiana, and Little Rock, and I think they're great additions. I know that they're going to be very strong basketball. If it's not right away, it'll definitely be in time. So, I do like the direction of bringing those teams in, and I think, for us, we're fired up to hopefully compete and take a much better jump at that top tier of the league.
You talked about stability of who's coming back, but you guys have landed some really outstanding recruits, signees, whatever the right word is. I want to finish with Parker. I want to talk about him a little bit, but a couple of junior college guys, a Division I guy. Talk about your newcomers. I think they look like they're going to really fit some needs.
Well, I think so. We'll first talk about, Jalen Myers, our junior college transfer. He was Region Player of the Year in Mississippi. He's 6'8", he can dribble, pass, shoot. And well, yeah, that's what you do in basketball, but it's very rare at this level. You find a 6'8" guy that was Region Player of the Year that can do all those things. And I think if you laid it all out and said, hey, who's got our greatest upside? Jalen Myers is right there. And I think he'll contribute from day one. I really do. He can play multiple positions. But I think his upside in basketball, I think in 10, 12 years, Harry, we'll be saying, man, where'd that guy come from? Because he's a great kid. He works super hard. He's coachable, and he's got a skill set. So I'm really excited to welcome Jalen. Obviously.
I lost you, Ryan. I can see you, but I can't hear you. Nope.
My speakers show they're working.
There you go. Now you're back. But before you move on to the other 3 guys, you were talking about Myers, MVP, and I guess in his league, and then nationally ranked maybe in rebounding. Okay, he's a big guy, and free throw percentage, which is a little bit abnormal for a big guy as well. I mean, he's a unique talent.
No doubt. You shoot 90+% as a 6'8" guy. It shows that, hey, I've got the hands to be able to shoot the basketball. And the one stat that does translate, you hit on, is rebounding. Rebound translates at every level. If you rebound in middle school, you'll rebound in high school. If you rebound in high school, you get a rebound in junior college. In junior college, you're going to do it at Division I level. So for us, I do think long-term potential. I think, he's a big get for us. Had been fortunate to coach a couple Region Player of the Years in junior college, and they've all transpired to be all league players at the Division I level for us. So excited about him. Comes from a basketball family, great mom and dad, just really well put together. Excited to welcome him to our family.
So you might have been talking about Desmond Williams or Jordan Sears when the mic went out. Tell me about Sears.
Well, I think, the thing is when people see recruiting, they always get excited when you sign big guys. Hey, what did you get a 7-footer? Did you sign? Well, we try to recruit really hard, a lot of different positions, but at the end of the day, guards win games. And we really felt like, Kobe was going to be a good piece coming back. KJ's got some accolades and big time ability, but we needed to really target guards that could come in and help us compete right away. So what we did is, Jordan Sears comes from a winning program. He won 18 games at Gardner-Webb. As a freshman, he shot 39% from three and averaged almost 10 a game. This year had a solid year, averaged almost 9 points per game. But what he does is he competes at a high level, knows how to play basketball. Unbelievable kid. Tried to recruit him really, really hard at Bethune-Cookman. He thought Gardner-Webb was a better opportunity. So we got him on the rebound. But Jordan, like Dez, is coming from a winning program. Got major respect for Tim Kraft, Jeremy Luther, those guys up there. They know how to win. And so as you kind of segue into Dez Williams, it's another kid that came from Troy who won 20 games. He started 29 out of 32 games, shot 39% from threes, led them in threes made and 3-point field goal percentage, and played the fourth most minutes on it in a team that won 20 games in the Sun Belt. So although maybe not eye-popping stats of Jalen Myers, very important because they're targeted from winning Division I programs.
So one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you was I think the Parker Stewart return to UT Martin is one of the things I'm most excited about this coming college basketball season across 50 states, 32 conferences, 350, whatever, 400 and whatever players. Parker Stewart at UTM. That to me, that made me sing. I was super excited about that. Talk about it.
Well, I think it's obviously really special, getting a chance to know him through the recruiting process and his family. And, when I first took the job, obviously I reached out to his mother and, just want to introduce myself and just give her a peace of mind that, hey, if there's anything we can do, don't know what it could be, but if Parker needs to, come to the gym or whatever, whatever we could do from a basketball standpoint, from a UTM standpoint, hey, we're here to support and help you. And, obviously, as Parker decided that, hey, he may want to play an additional year, had some conversation with him, and it really wasn't too much basketball stuff at the beginning. It was just more so, tell me about your experiences here and how things transpired, and begin to share how close he was with his family and his mother, his sister, his brother, and obviously got a chance to talk about his dad a little bit and kind of what it was like playing here for him. And as we started, developing a relationship, I think it became very apparent, how close his family dynamic was. And, he had offers from all over the country, all these big time universities and high major this and that. And the one thing is I knew we obviously had something different. That was his family here. And the thing about Parker is obviously he's going to come in, he's going to be a great player for us. There's no doubt about that. He's done it in this league. He averaged 19 a game, was all league. But he is a great man. And I mean, when you talk about recruiting young student athletes, this is a young man that has his head on straight. He has priorities. I'm excited for what he brings, not just to our program, but back to our community, to our younger guys. He's just been a joy to get to know and understand, more about his journey and hopefully capping this thing off the right way in remembrance of his dad.
Yeah, I got to know his dad a little bit when he was there and interviewed him a handful of times and had such respect for Anthony Stewart. And then when that all happened, his dad passed away, and then it made sense for him to go somewhere else, just to be able to not be in that cauldron of everything else. And so when I heard he was coming back, I thought this is just so perfect. For people that don't know, an electric shooter, handles the ball well, big guard at like about 6'5", and just a terrific player. And I know from good stock. I mean, his dad was he looked at college coaching as like, I'm building a business. He came from a business background. And so he was very analytical and straightforward. And I'm excited about his return there to UTM.
Well, yeah, I think you said it. Obviously, the player wise, he's got a chance to come in and be one of the most impactful players in the league. I think him going away to Indiana I think even enhanced him even more, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It can really be good on both sides in our league. But you said it, I think what's really cool is him and his dad's dream was to one day hang a banner in the Elam Center. And, obviously I didn't know Coach Stu great, but I knew enough that he treated this profession as a ministry, and his true belief was to give back to young people and try to get them to believe in something bigger than themselves and move on, doing things they never thought imaginable. So to sit down and have the opportunity to be with Parker and potentially fulfill him and his dad's dream of doing something special at UT Martin, it's a pretty cool story.
So you guys, I think you guys can start working out again mid-June, something like that. Give us the calendar a little bit. And are you guys done? Do you need to bring any more players in?
I'll start with the recruiting part. We feel really good with our roster right now. We've got 12 guys. We've turned 8. We signed 4. We'll be open to taking 1, but it's got to be the right one. We just feel really strong about our culture and our talent level right now. So never say never. You feel good about it, but at the same time, there are certain scenarios that they would present themselves. But we're going to go 7 weeks in the summer. You're allowed to go 8. I think it's really important for our guys to go home, get away from here in May. And then they're going to come back in June. We'll go 4 weeks of our allotted. We're allowed 8 hours a week. We'll go 4 weeks in June. And then we'll kind of give them that week of the 4th of July off where they can kind of stick around. They can go home. They can be a college student. And then we'll bring them back for three weeks to finish out July. And then we'll send them home again in August and let them kind of have that 2 weeks before we hit it late August. They come here and all of a sudden, it's mid-February before you realize it. And so we'll go 7 weeks hard. Obviously we're allowed to go 8, but feel good about the 7 weeks in the summer.
So I want to ask you about 2 acronyms, NIL, MTE. What kind of, have you signed up for an MTE? Do you have an MTE coming this year? And then how do you guys navigate the NIL? How have you guys maybe instructed your players?
Yep. So the MTE, those are always unique to me. Obviously, you can go away and try to earn some money and play in some cool venues, some different teams, some different arenas, and then you've got your like MTEs where you're trying to play some more programs like yourself. And for us, it's funny you're asking about that because we thought we had one locked in, and the way scheduling works, kind of got one moved on us. So we're pursuing a different opportunity, and we'll find the right one here. Just trying to make sure that it fits in with all of our scheduling stuff. And then, to be honest with the NIL stuff, I'll be very transparent about it. I'm for it. I think it's very good for the student athletes. I think, I'm not one that sits in that room and has those meetings about how we should go about it. And I can't pretend I have answers, but I'm excited for our guys to have the ability, to have an opportunity to make money. And, for us, it's more been about education. It's been about understanding, how does this thing work? How does it work at UT Martin? What can we best do to help provide our guys with the necessary tools to be successful? And I'm sure, as we get some more guidance from the NCAA and, from the decision makers, I'm sure we'll be better versed in it. But right now it's really just about education and understanding what does that mean for us going forward.
As we wrap up, I don't want to keep you super long. Coaches talk culture all the time. We're building this culture, our culture. In a sentence or two, how would you define the UT Martin culture?
I think it's very simple. It's family, it's love, it's something bigger than yourself. We're a culture of work, and the word culture honestly has been overplayed or been demeaned in a certain way that. Well, you know what? I disagree. My dad's a college coach, has been in it for over 30 years. And that word culture, I remember from 1992. And all of a sudden it became like a buzzword. And we have all these different things like college basketball is college basketball, Harry. Yes. Has it changed? Has it evolved? Do you shoot the ball from 3? Yes. But, the culture is still very important to us. We're going to wake up every day. We're going to be humble. We're going to be servant leaders. We're going to treat our kids right. We're going to coach them hard. We're going to tell them the truth. We're going to love them. And then we're going to hope to win some basketball games. And I think through all that, has college basketball turned into a little bit of a business? Absolutely. I'm not afraid to admit that. But it doesn't mean that you still can't treat people the right way and have a great culture of work and family and seeing the picture that's bigger than yourself. So to me, I know it's kind of long-winded, but that's what culture means to me. And I'm not afraid to sit here and say it's important to our program.
Well, it's so critical, right? Because you guys are together so long and so many hours and so many weeks and so many days and travel and everything else. If it's not, I don't know, fun, enjoyable, committed, heart to heart, life to life, it could be quite a drudgery, I imagine.
Well, I think it's the fact of the matter is, and I've hit on it, we weren't as successful as we wanted to be on the court. And so I haven't met a lot of people that have said, hey, man, our culture is great when you're losing. But I can tell you this, our culture is sustainable. We return 8 of 11. Those guys didn't quit, although we lost our last 7. They came in every day with a work ethic on fire to get better. And so for people that don't believe in culture or think it's a buzzword or it's overplayed, I disagree. I think we had a good culture. We just didn't put enough pieces together to win games. And I have every bit of confidence that we'll get there sooner than later.
Final thought, your dad was a coach, you worked for him and all of that. 2 or 3 major things. I was we just had Mother's Day, right? And both of my parents are gone. And so we went to the gravesite, put flowers on my mom's grave, well, they share a grave, but, and I think about my mom and my dad every day. And I just wonder what kind of life/coaching lessons you learned from Steve Ritter.
You're going to hear this word. It's called real, right? So he is about real relationships, not transactional. They're transformational. And for me, I think everything that you do, it's got to be real. It's got to be, life is about relationships in your faith, your family, your friends. I mean, that's how life works. And I think people know the difference between genuine and fake. And so for us, my dad's as real as it gets. He wakes up at, I don't know, 4:15 in the morning. He's fired up. If you don't take the trash out the right way, he's going to let you know that wasn't good enough. And yeah, at the same time, he's getting on you, but you almost feel bad because he just cares so much about you and he just wants you to be your best. So for me, between him and my mom, it's a bit, how do you impact people in a positive manner? And I've been lucky to use basketball as a vehicle. And the game's changing, the profession is changing, but I don't think that has to change the way you approach at least at UT Martin right now.
That's Ryan Ritter. He's the second-year coach at UT Martin, and they're building things a perfect way. Listen, I was talking to a coach the other day, one of those new coaches that's coming in your league, and the guy said to me, he said, who besides the obvious people that we've heard of course, Belmont, Murray, they're leaving. He said, who do you think is going to be successful? And I said, I think Ryan Ritter at UT Martin. I think they're going to be successful. And he said, I've had 2 or 3 other people tell me that. So people are already starting to pay attention to know that you guys are building in the right direction. So super excited about what you guys are doing and where you're headed, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much for taking time. Always enjoy talking with you.
That's Ryan Ritter, head coach of the UT Martin Skyhawks. They're going to be really fun to watch this year. I'm Harry Schroeder. Thanks for watching the podcast today. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon. Ryan, thank you so much. Let me hit this recording thing. Stop.